talk is about mobility as aerospace, rail, automotive is growing and evolving rapidly with the advent of digitization and automation. In order to be able to implement these future systems and to face cyber attacks, we must reinvent cybersecurity. Today, French and European R&D investment plans are responding to a large part of the effort of this progress. Moreover, this could be a unique opportunity to build cyber sovereignty. I propose to you to discover how we can build it together.
Welcome to talk.cybercni.fr.
Bienvenue.
Welcome to the 5th edition of the Cyber CNI Talk Cyber CNI speaker series. Yeah, as always, our goal is to raise cyber awareness, and today we have again a super interesting talk by Cyril Cappi from Sncf. And before we come to the talk, as usual, the questions will be over Slido, and I hand over to Alex, who will give us an intro to the tooling about the questions. So,
okay, thank you, Marc-Oliver, and good evening, everyone. If you want to ask questions, feel free to do it on the YouTube chat or either LinkedIn chat. But you have also a tool which is called Slido. The link is provided on the chat. By using this link, you will be able to ask questions and to answer a question about sovereignty. What does it mean to you? And the results will be showed at the end of the presentation. Thank you.
All right, and yeah, please ask a lot of questions because as usual, we have about half of the time for the questions and half of the time for the presentation. So, yeah, as I said already, the goal of the series is rising cyber awareness, and today's talk is called Dare the Breakthrough of Cybersecurity, an Opportunity to Build Sovereignty. We heard the abstract at the beginning already. I'm very happy to welcome today Cyril Cappi as a speaker. He's a new partner at the chair, and it's a great pleasure always working with him and learning from his expertise. Cyril is a senior research engineer at Sncf. He is working in the Innovation and Research department. He's in charge of Cybersecurity Research program for railway domain. He's a member of the international network of scientific experts called Synapses. Within he leads a cybersecurity working group. His research aims to develop and secure the use of AI in cybersecurity. He's been seconded to work at IRT Saint-Exupery Research Institute for the DEEL project, a Franco-Canadian project on trust and confidence in AI. And in addition, and in parallel, he holds the position of Vice President Research and Development Committee within the French Federation of Cybersecurity, and he teaches cyber information security in master's degree at Gustave Eiffel Université. Donc, so it's a great pleasure to welcome you, Cyril, and without further ado, I hand over to you and look forward to your interesting talk.
Thanks a lot, Marc-Oliver. I'm very happy and so delighted with your invitation, and I'm so happy to be with you for this evening and for this presentation. I'm trying to be as clear as possible, and hope I meet your expectations. So, during this presentation, I will take you on a journey through the evolution of mobility to fully understand the issues. We will find out why we already need to reinvent cybersecurity, and taking into account more than ever the world that changes every day. And to conclude, I propose to you to have an highlight of some proposal to go further. I don't talk about the world today, but more the world of tomorrow. So first, mobility's evolutions. To begin, about mobility's evolution, as you can see, people are becoming increasingly mobile. So the transport outlook in 2040 leads to growth in traffic on both the roads and the railways, and for both for passengers and for freight. This is the context, and I would like to say that I'm not talking in this show specifically about the railway domain, but more broadly of all sectors of mobility. People, because this situation is the same in for all domain of transport, and this is the same. Finally, the same response to be able to have a solution for our customers. So naturally, during the current pandemic crisis, the traffic has stopped, but this projection is for the future, and I hope then we find the world before. So, what is the issue with this growth? In fact, the current infrastructures will not be able to cope with this growth. But technologies could help us. And my feel concerning this topic is that the part of automation should be crucial. Automation means real benefits for customers, increase capacity, because running more trains or airplanes means being able to transport more passengers and more goods, to have a greater fluidity and regularity, and more environmentally transport, of course, to reduce the energy consumption. If we take a look about these technologies, here you are some technologies which concern a lot of industries. I could add health in this slide. For the railway domain, we had been working on autonomous train, as you know, for suburban, high-speed train, regional train, and freight too. We go to industry 4.0 with a lot of robots, cobots, exoskeleton for maintenance. Industry 4.0 aims to use data to improve performance. We lead the problem of ecology with green transport at Sncf, with a big program about hydrogen trains. And finally, train, airplane, car, ship in the future will be more connected. Inside with Wi-Fi for operation or entertainment, for example, for our customers, and outside, so with, for example, automatic platooning. This is a vehicle-to-vehicle communication standard. Anyway, the problem with automation is it's the needs of connectivity, in fact. The needs of network, of machine learning, and different algorithms in general. Here we are understanding the necessary convergence between IT and OT. And about this, US and their president, Biden, said last week, perhaps you listened this information, that the development of robust maturity models to address IT and OT convergence are key. So to make in safety and the cyber way it possible, we don't just have to secure future system and subsystem. I mean, not just using the security by design, for example, but we need to get insights in cybersecurity. We need to reinvent cybersecurity. I'm not saying that we should throw the baby out with the bathwater. No, I have so much respect for cybersecurity experts, all the knowledge, all the experiences, the current method, and the way they protect us every day. That saying, I think we need to go further. I'm convinced that to protect, we need to attack. By attack, I mean not only become black hat, but always be ahead of the game. In French, we say in the railway domain, garder un train d'avance. And I like an image for the cybersecurity to be like a boxer. Always move to disrupt the opponent, keep guard protections, and sometimes fight by using cutting-edge technologies. So my position is to reinvent cybersecurity. So cyber attacks becoming today more sophisticated, targeted, widespread, and undetected. The street landscape maps malware standing strong as #1 cyber street in the UA, with an increase in phishing, identity theft, ransomware. Monetization holding its place as cybercriminals' top motivation. And the COVID-19 environment fueling attacks on homes, business, governments, and critical infrastructure. All this information are every day in the news. In France, we are a goal for a lot of hackers. And as you can see, we have an increase of the number of attacks. And in 2020, we have 4 times more attacks. And it is very disturbing for me. If I could take a look about the cost of cyber attacks, this is often a question. What is the cost? We can see last week that there existing an estimation of 6 trillion in 2021. And cyber risk should reach 10 trillion in 2025. If it were measured as a country, then cybercrime will be the world's third largest economy after the US and China. More profitable than the global trade of all major illegal drugs combined. In Europe, 65% of companies pay the ransom, and globally, attacks are mainly on the IT network. So, why should we do more than today? Because today, hackers attack not only your network to encrypt your data, but especially the server of the host of your backup. Because today, hackers directly attack your cyber solution service providers. There is a lot of examples. Adding protections could increase certain vulnerabilities. And because today, hackers discover the vulnerabilities directly in the satellite which supports your communication network instead of hacking you directly. So the threat is evolving. The way things are changing, we have to adapt. If IT remains the main goal, as said, we could talk about the last attack on OT. OT for operational technology. And I know that you have read the information about the last attack in US with the fuel pipeline operator Colonial Pipeline. What happens? Hackers shut its entire network after a cyber attack that involved ransomware. But how should we interpret this? What did they do? They closed major parts of their installations. This is a reflex in IT, but not always consistent in OT. And this is half of the US East Coast's fuel supply, basically. Furthermore, airports like Nashville, Atlanta was affected because they cannot refill the aircraft fuel tank. In fact, we observe that cybersecurity is a question of technology, but not only. Engineering is very relevant. Regarding resilience, we must first understand on the one hand, our networks, our data, and on the other hand, our processes and the impacts on them. We saw the results. The Colonial Pipeline paid $90 million, excuse me. And I don't blame them because I know it's very hard to make a decision when your production is impacted. In US, you have a lot of vulnerabilities in this kind of industries. And for this reason, they are an easy goal. Anyway, to deal with this kind of problem, it is necessary to know how to assess risks, identify essential assets, measure the impact, and then put in place the appropriate mechanisms. And here again, technology could be a big help. You know, I have a lot learned from a well-known expert issued from the famous unit 8200. This is an Israeli intelligence corps unit. They consider that your best bet in tackling a complex task can be using a military approach. For this reason, Unit 8200 is a corps unit of the Israel Defense Forces. Moreover, as you know, in France, military approach use cutting-edge technologies. They test lots of technologies. Finally, this is identifying the threshold between business continuity and security assessment. We need a subtle balance of strategies and technologies. And to close this chapter, I can say that in US, in China, and Asia in general, they use already a lot of technologies to cybersecurity. Now, I would like to talk about different approach. The security needs to be managed by 360 degrees. What it means to have 360 degrees cybersecurity. In literature, this is a system which refers to a data security approach that minimizes risks from all possible angles. It means implementing cybersecurity measures and protocols that account for threats, weakness, and vulnerabilities at very corporate level. Considering the human factor with the risk awareness. But for me, 360 degrees must to integrate all risks and not only the cyber risk. You have with the industry a lot of risk, the safety risk, the security risk, and cyber security. These risks are managed by different entities in silos. Related safety risk can occur a risk for another domain. The interfaces and the sharing of information between them are not systematic. And for the continuum of this vision, for OT, we need to include the business line with the day-to-day operation teams. Another problem comes from the strategies. One of the most popular best practice used in cybersecurity is the defense in depth. Widely inspired by Vauban, the principle is to build different levels of walls to protect the core of system. But when you study in depth Vauban, French engineers, military architect, and a lot of other roles under the King Louis XIV, when you take a look at these defenses, you understand that each wall plays a role. Not typically to block the opponent, sometimes just to put in confidence, to direct it towards an objective, sometimes weaken it before rendering it definitively inoperative. And finally, in the cyber domain, we don't use the entire philosophy of Vauban in defense in depth. Toulon Harbor, Toulon, a French city, the Toulon Harbor, or the fortified castle called Liberia in France, in the south of France, are some good examples of this philosophy. Now let's talk a little bit about innovation. So, what does technology mean for cybersecurity? Well, we have to take a look on the slide, and as you see, there is two approach: techno push and market pull. Techno push, like any new technology that is becoming essential, AI, data, automation in general. We can add 5G and IoT, a lot of technologies. And the market pool is like the emerging needs of the market. Indeed, today, cybersecurity is mainly driven by the market with different solutions, such as network security, data security, cloud security, privacy. We use security by design. Very often, following a series of attacks, the market pool grows. It is observed in the health sector currently. In this way, techno push is an opportunity to do more than what are we doing. I mean, see techno push like not only cyber has a service of. Cyber has a service of 5G, cyber has a service of IoT, but like an opportunity to develop a new approach for the cybersecurity. I would like to highlight the breathtaking work of Mintelecom and the Cyber CA9 chair, Mark Oliver, of course, but all PhD students, engineers, because they cover a broad spectrum and are proof that we can still do a lot more in cybersecurity. Accordingly, if technologies make it necessary to find the new sources of cyber protection, such as 5G and IoT, they can also increase protection capabilities, for example, with HiHi. The more technologies you integrate, the more vulnerable your business becomes. This is a trade-off for the convenience, productivity, and efficiency, so provided by technological innovation. Thus, technology offers a dual reading by providing both source of security and source of vulnerability. I can take the example of AI. We have AI for cyber, but we have too the security of AI. For all these reasons, adopting cybersecurity technology requires an R&D department. The research and innovation team and the information technology team play a key role. You know, the world changes every day. I can give you some example. If you talk about IoT, we have the solution to secure by design the IoT. Okay, but what about the management of 1,000 millions, billions of IoTs? Quantum computing. Currently, blockchain cryptography is highly secure too. Tomorrow, actually, with quantum computing, with the capacity of computation, it will take an estimated time of less of 50 seconds to unlock the blockchain. So we need to accept that in cybersecurity, nothing will be never achieved. And when I'll talk to reinvent cybersecurity, in fact, we need to reinvent perpetually the cybersecurity. Another big challenge is how to consider a green cyber. Limit the growth of data in the new systems. I don't have all the answers, but we need to take this into account. Cybersecurity can become a catalyst to strengthen the innovative culture. For example, we could cultivate original thinking in research efforts. We are lucky in France because we have certain methods that existing, such as the DEEL method. I would like to present quickly this method because we use a lot of at Sncf. DEEL method to make the breakthrough in innovations. DEEL method like D definition, knowledge, concept, and proposal. This method was developed at Min Paritech, Cocorico. And a special greeting goes to my friend Dominic Laus from Sncf because he is a recognized expert in this method. For example, this method can help Thales to win the call of tender for the new cockpit of the Airbus A350. And I believe too with Naval Group for the call of tender of submarines. So there is a lot of literature about this method, but you have, I can quote the theory of design from Le Masson, Veil, and Attuel. With this type of method, we can consider not only cybersecurity as a service of, but in a way as a concept of holistic system, addressing multiple cybersecurity facets and integrating knowledge, process, human, method, tool, and offering unlimited opportunities to develop sovereignty. I'm definitively convinced that we need to develop a systemic cybersecurity layer, in a certain manner, an upper layer, which integrated holistic view and a protection solution that are as close as possible to user to asset. With a convergence between IT and OT, break down the silos by facilitating team collaboration. I'm not saying that this concept is already done, but simply that the field of possibilities, the space exists. Thus, be able to deal with the global technology to generate a new and real market. So there is currently a call for a new ad hoc working group about cybersecurity market at ENISA. You find a lot of information on the website. And a framework conducive to the development and integration of future technologies. Now, I come to sovereignty. I heard a lot of things about sovereignty during conference, during exchange with government. It is the role of government. What are French and European government doing? But from my point of view, sovereignty is less about regulation than having a relevant offer. Here, a quick trivial overview of the economic market. The market is mainly composed by industrial of cybersecurity, often foreigner in France and in Europe. But in France, we have a good ecosystem with some industrial like Thales, Orange, Datos, and a lot of small and medium enterprise startups. All these enterprises are competent in their domain, and this landscape is the same in most of other technological domains. For 5G, for example, or other domain like, I don't know, HiHi. Or... Let's take the example of the startup. Finally, when a startup has a good idea, it is either bought by GAFA. I mean by GAFA, big cyber company in US or Asia. Or it has difficulty reaching the French and the European market because industries prefer global solutions. I don't count anymore my French CEO friends who left France to Singapore or the United States to catch a market. Finally, we have a problem of sovereignty. A lot of ideas often shared by other countries, but no one market. If I take the leitmotif of Palo Alto, this is to outsmart attackers, choose vendors who can continuously strengthen and expand the capabilities of their products. As we discussed, to enhance innovative in cybersecurity and gain the match of sovereignty, we need a framework based from a point of view on 3 pillars. First, we need to build the ecosystem of innovation. We need to bring together the academics, the industrial, the small and medium enterprise, and the startups and associations. For this, we need both finance and collaboration. This is the 2 first pillars. Beginning with the first issue, finance. We are lucky in France because French government launched big program of research called the Grand Défi Cyber and the PIA, like a future investment plan. We are already to the 4th, the 3rd is not finished yet when we talk about the PIA. And each of these plans covers the cybersecurity domain. A lot of smart and medium enterprise startup that I met don't know the principle of this call of projects. I know BPI lead this call of project. And I know that they manage this call of project and do a lot. But we need to continue to help them to communicate about it. That's what we do with the French Cybersecurity Federation, for example. For the collaboration, we have the opportunity of the Cyber Campus. This is a good news, this idea of Cyber Campus. During an official visit in Israel, as you know, I think President Macron spends most of his time to discover the dynamic IT ecosystem. I know the ecosystem in Israel, and I can be the witness that this is an example in cybersecurity domain. A future cyber campus in France, inspired by the Cyber Spark in Beersheba, was decided by the president. I'm very happy that France was inspired by the Israeli model. Because Beersheba is truly an example to follow, which brings together more than 1,500 technicians, engineers, and researchers specializing in cybersecurity. In France, it will be half. It's a good beginning, I think. Emmanuel Macron wants to create an operational campus bringing together manufacturers, researchers, and startups. The cyber campus will be by 2021 at the end of the year, on November, if my information are right. This is a symbol of cybersecurity that will bring together the main national and international players in the field. In particular, it will allow companies, larger group, small, medium enterprise, startup, public services, training organization, research actors, and associations to be hosted on the same site. While the campus will be located at La Défense in Paris, regional variations of the campus are planned after. And it's very important in France for the railway, but for all industries to have local place in regional area. Moreover, Emmanuel Macron will unveil a cyber acceleration plan of 1 billion euros, all of which to boost French R&D. This is the 5 billions in US, but this has the cyber campus a good beginning. So I don't want to do the communication of the president, but I find that the government use the good actions to help us to gain this race for the sovereignty. So I can just say to all companies to develop R&D entity. But after obtaining the funding and the collaboration to be competitive, we must as well as strengthen the offer. A way to become competitive is to develop, a good way is to develop a platform for sovereignty like the Aleia platform. I don't know if you know this platform, but this project was deal by the Hub France HiHi. This is a platform which brings together more than 10 editors specializing in HiHi, 22, Cosmian, Quam, iTrust, and so on. Aleia platform federates an ecosystem of sovereign European HiHi editors to bring state-of-the-art HiHi expertise to its customers. This platform offers a collection of tools developed by various startups. And it will offer an industrial information system to accelerate the operational impact of AI and built on 3 pillars: security for sharing the data, the performance of algorithm and their application. And I don't remember the third, excuse me, this is a simplicity, simplicity and industrialization. This industrialization is a big problem. More generally, when we talk about generalization, when a startup develop a solution, is not easy for a big company to have this capacity of generalization. So for this reason, we need to use the collaboration between startup, small, medium enterprise, and big enterprise. Now, I would like show some proposal insights. They aren't exhaustive, but they are relevant. I think we can be inspired from safety to cybersecurity. For example, with the risk assessment. there is a different risk assessment in safety, and there is different risk assessment in cybersecurity. An excellent method is the EBIOS Risk Manager. This method are based on the development of strategic scenarios. These scenarios are identified by deduction. Then in qualitative way, we had the presentation during the last talk of a tool for EBIOS RM from All4Tech, and it was very interesting. I don't talk about replace existing method like EBIOS RM from ANSI or others, but of providing for the critical and complex system an exhaustive analysis. Here we are following the same path of the safety domain, finally, and can save valuable time based on the experience of this domain. The model-based approach allows for a quantitative approach. Some projects existing. I can take the example of Systemx. Systemx is a technological research institute in France with the CTI project. They developed the chess platform for risk analysis and standards. So far, there are analyses at the level of the upper layer, but with a lack of exhaustiveness of research on the attack path. So a formalization of streets with modeling of systems, engineering of complex systems. With these models, we can find out all the shortest attack paths, vulnerabilities. And this is magic because this is automatic, continuous. So after implemented the system, we can continue to use this system. Thus, from the 6ML, then the research and development continuous risk analysis, we will be adapting the defense strategy to the constantly evolving landscape of the cyberspace. This is one of the first example. Another example is a HiHi for cybersecurity. As you know, as you see, there is a lot of solution of HiHi in cybersecurity, and I think it's very good to use HiHi for cybersecurity because, as we saw, there is the growth of the attack, and we need an automation system to detect and respond. So in France, we have a lot of solution and French solution, but a lot of are used in detection solutions, much less in response solutions. Many based on the cybersecurity does not yet integrate the cyber defense component, or at least does not allow collaboration between cyber and defense teams. Today, we are more on machine learning type HiHi with supervised learning. But HiHi through deep learning brings many more perspectives. So I'm often told HiHi doesn't work very well, or supervised learning takes time, a lot of resources. We would like a nominal mode self-learning system without engineering featuring, thus capable of detecting weak noise signals. I say go. It is a game changer, and I am a player. But for that, we must engage massively in this area for cyber, get ahead of the rest of the world. But without failing to address the security of AI. And there again, I think that France has all its chances. I participate in the DEEL research program. DEEL has a dependable and explainable learning with many manufacturers and Saint-Exupery Technological Research Institute in Toulouse. This is a Franco-Canadian program that deals, for example, with the questions of the robustness of AI algorithms. And this poses the questions of biases, adversarial attacks. We have an incredible capacity for research in France. And on these thematics, there is an advance, or at least no delay, vis-à-vis the rest of the world. It remains to build the Médicis bridges between safety and security. Challenges are to make systems using HiHi more reliable and resilient through enhanced explainability and better state understanding. Let's talk about these vulnerabilities right away. While HiHi is to be developed to automate security, it is also used by black hat hackers to carry out attacks. Different vulnerabilities are identified. Evasion, poisoning, and inference are the most widespread now. The first method is that of data poisoning. The purpose of this technique is to attack the data used to train machine learning models. It consists in manipulating a set of training data in order to control the predictive behavior of the model trained with this data. In this way, it is possible to corrupt the model and its predictions. For example, artificial intelligence may then fail to detect spam emails or other malicious content. Inference. How to make AI talk with inference? An attacker experiments successively tests different requests on the application and studies the evolution of its behavior. The attacker seeks here either the recovery of the data used by the AI in training or in production, or the theft of the model. This is, for example, one of the techniques most used to hijack the operation of security solutions. The attackers subscribe to the solution, send multiple requests, retrieve the associated outputs, and use all this data to train a model identical to the security solution studied. They can then initiate adverse attacks more easily, being owners of the algorithm and therefore having access to all the information leading to the decision of the solution. They will then use the generated adverse examples to propagate attacks that will go undetected. Evasion. Evasion, or how to fool AI with evasion. Here you are this kind of attack. An attacker plays on the input data of the application in order to obtain a decision different from that normally expected by the application. It seeks to create the equivalent of an optical illusion for the algorithm called an adversarial example. By introducing a carefully calculated noise to remain discrete and not be detected. The attacker thus seeks to divert the behavior of your application to his advantage and targets the application in production once the training is complete. There is a lot of other techniques we have not any time to develop, but for example, through a backdoor attack, it is even possible for a hacker to add an entry to an algorithm without even the model creator knowing it. This entry will be used, for example, to prevent a machine learning system from detecting malicious lines of code. This suggests addressing the problem of data quality in AI. Today, there is no standard for data quality for the machine learning. Another problem is the GAN in generative adversarial network. This is a category of artificial intelligence system. The first neural network simulates content, and the second tries to identify its flow. We currently test this kind of technology at Sncf for other projects. By this opposition, the two networks train the AI system to create fakes that are larger than life. Hackers can use this to mimic normal traffic patterns and thus conduct their data theft attacks still daily. We can fool facial recognition system, manipulate robots, change the prediction of algorithm. There is a lot of other examples about this problem of secure the AI. So now another insight that is very important for me. This is a 3D virtual reality. Just a few words on these topics because to improve responsiveness, especially in OT domain, teams must have a vision, a representation of the system. The systems are more and more complex. It's hard for someone to quickly understand what's going in day-to-day operation and be able to make the right decision. This is even more relevant when working with an automation system because you need explainability. Either way, in this type of system, you have a lot of information without the correlation or consistency. So I believe that supporting the team with virtual reality and augmented reality or digital twin is essential. So we arrive at the end of the presentation. Many thanks for your attention. And maybe you have a question about my point of view of innovation and cybersecurity.
Great. Thank you so much, Cyril, for the wonderful talk. So just switch our view. So yeah, thanks a lot. I really enjoyed it, and you covered a lot of very interesting and very nice aspects. So thank you so much for that. As usual, I will start with the first question, and the good thing when I ask questions is that I don't have to answer them. So let's maybe start with this one here. So you mentioned Israel multiple times, and when you look at where cybersecurity research happens, Israel is definitely a prominent spot. So what would you say did they do right, or why are they in this position today?
Sorry, just can you repeat because I have a problem of noise?
So I was saying you mentioned multiple times Israel as a nation that is leading in cybersecurity research, and my question is, what did they do right in the past that they are in this position right now?
Yeah, good question. So in Israel, you have a big ecosystem deal by the government, and in fact, I don't say that the Israel startup are better than French startup is not the question, and we have a lot of skills and idea in France, and this is my purpose. But what happened in Israel? They have, in fact, they have already what they need to have to gain the race of sovereignty and to be able to tackle the big industries in US and Asia. In fact, there is startups with, as I said in Beersheba, this is a Cyberspark, and this is an ecosystem with researchers, startups, and industries. They work together every day, and after that, there existing a link between the startup and the big industries, and frequently the startup is how to say, when they develop a solution, they are like the big industry is like an incubator, in fact, of the startup. It's like maybe I can do an image. If tomorrow at SNCF, I can take a startup directly in my services, and I can help them to improve their product. In fact, and this is very important. Another point is in a lot of big enterprise, you have expertise from this famous unit 8200. I can take an example. In the CEO of the railway company at Israel is a general, in fact, with this experience. And they have a condition of how to say, they have in fact a business plan, a continuous business plan, because they know manage whole problem that can occur, like a safety problem, but a cybersecurity problem too. And it is very interesting to catch up this approach to inject it in the big company relevant expert in cybersecurity.
Very good, and especially good because one point you mentioned was that they have a strategy and they have the government that is pushing it, and I'm also very happy, as you also said, that the French government is also pushing it, and I'm also very happy to be in the Brittany region where also the military was driving this cybersecurity research since a long time, which is also very good and very different from Germany, where we don't have that, for instance. Very good. So Alex, maybe you come with the first question from the chat.
Yeah, thank you, Mark Oliver, and thank you, Cyril. There are some questions on the Slido, so I will try to regroup them on some themes. So first questions were about the money, of course. So you said that the costs of cyber attacks will be a few trillions in the year 2021. And so with this in mind, do you consider that governments are giving enough money to prevent these attacks? And the second question linked to this one, what is the cost of physical attacks or just upkeep of a transport infrastructure? So if someone is just destroying railroad, how much does this cost annually compared to cyber attacks?
Okay, two questions, very interesting. First question, from my point of view, this is not in link with cybersecurity, but in fact, the money is not the problem, not the overall problem, because in fact, to have a good protection, you need to have a good solution, and to have a good solution, you need to have a good idea, and you need to have skills and knowledge. And in fact, I think finally, for cybersecurity, the money that the government give with the call of project and the money that each enterprise give to are sufficient. I think the problem currently is this famous link between all the people which have information and knowledge, skills, experiences about cybersecurity. And if you bring together, you can create an emulation, and you can develop some very interesting solution. And one of this principle is to develop solutions that they are different from the other countries. Because today, when I see the market in France, this is the same solutions than in the US and in Asia or Israel. We do currently, for example, XDR and SOAR, but the problem to gain the sovereignty and to gain the market is to develop more than X there. I don't know the solution because it's not so easy that I can say, but for this reason, I think that we need use method of innovation, and the method of DKCP is an excellent method to push us to go ahead. In fact, with sometimes concept, but some concept can be a solution at the end of the day. For the second question, it's not easy to answer because I'm working for the research and I'm not working for the computation of the cost of the infrastructure. Railway is a larger domain, and there is a lot of cost, of course, for the infrastructure. It's difficult to answer for this question because I don't know. Perhaps with an attack, we will have a damage. But finally, as I said, today the top motivation is the money. In fact, like the example of Colonial Pipeline, the hackers didn't destroy the installation, just use a ransomware, and after that, after you pay, you can use your installation. So it's very difficult to ask to this question because I don't have the cost of the railway domain in my mind.
Okay, thank you for your answers. I will mix again two questions about security. So, what is the maximum damage that could do a cyber attack on the transport infrastructure? And the second one was about the fact that if we add some layers of technology on our system, do we reduce or increase the cybersecurity risk?
Another time for the first question is very difficult for me to answer because I'm not in the operational cybersecurity teams, and it depends of the attack. It's not for the railway, but if we talk about the airplane or the car, it depends of the attack. In fact, so I can say today, in fact, most of attacks are without consequences. Just you lost money when you pay, of course, but it's not easy to answer. But I think it's not the good approach to estimate the cost of damage. Finally, when I say the global cost of 6 trillion, this is all the problem that you have with an attack, because an attack is not directly a problem of damage, but more a problem of consequences in availability of the system. We talk about OT, but we can talk about IT. If I can use my website, it's a problem for the customers. So finally, it's difficult to estimate the global cost of an attack. For the second question, naturally, as I said, if you had solution, you had vulnerabilities. You know, there is a famous, well-known mathematician and deputy in France, Villani. And if you read his book, he talked about the no. In fact, he said when you work with the no, you have two parts. You have the part of the no, and you have the part of the unknown. So when you research a new solution, you catch a part of the unknown, because if you develop a solution on the know, this is an existing solution. So you catch a part of the unknown. But when you catch a part of the unknown, in fact, you don't reduce the unknown. You increase the part of the unknown, because you have new informations. You have another point of view of the world, in fact. And the unknown increase after each step than the man do, in fact. So in this philosophy, naturally, if we had a solution, we had the new problems, and maybe you don't know these problems currently, and we'll discover after, perhaps after an attack. And finally, this is the job of the hackers. They seek vulnerabilities to do an attack.
Maybe to jump in there. So you talked about methodologies, about the DKCP, about the EDIS. Can these methodologies help managing the complexity? And a second part of the question, are they dynamic enough? So are they adapting with the new technologies that are arriving in a fast enough manner?
Yes, methodology. You heard me?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, methodology is very important, because this is, from a point of view, the way to develop a good solution. And methodology, there is a lot of methodology, and this is finally the pivot between the ecosystem, because when you try to develop a project, Mark Oliver know, because we are currently, we try to develop a big project in cybersecurity with different people from smart medial enterprise, academic research, and bigger enterprise. And in fact, we don't talk the same language. So it's very important. I'm working every day with startup, for example, and it's very amazing, because I am in a big enterprise, and we don't have the same method, the same methodology. I don't say that one is more interesting than other. I think it's different, and from a point of view, this is what is interesting, to have different point of view, to have different method. But when we want created a project, a common project, we need to find a unique methodology, because without that we can't. And about method, there is a lot of method of innovation, of course, and each method are interesting. But with what I like when I see DKCP, first, this is a French method, and it's very interesting to use a French method. But this is more than a method, because in this method, you take a room, and you take people from startup, people from small medium enterprise, people from big enterprise. You take engineers, you take operational workers, you take researchers, and so on. And in fact, you create an emulation with all this point of view. And what is very important, this is a method for breakthrough innovation. So you need to define the concept, what I call the C0. And in fact, when you define a concept, this is something that doesn't exist, and is different to explain for other what is my concept, what is my point of view. But in fact, this is the gold of this method, because nothing is forbidden. So you can have you can have a big dream and realize with this method. And in fact, when you start from the concept, you use the method with your knowledge to reach the concept. And it is a very interesting method. You can search on literature. There is a lot of example, but it's very, very interesting.
Very, very good. Maybe before Alex comes to the tooling, maybe let me follow up there about the education. Do we have enough education in cybersecurity? Are the tools and the methodologies enough educated? Are they in the right format of education? Should they already be in elementary school because it's such a basic skill today? Do you have some thoughts in that direction?
Yes. In fact, yes, it's difficult to answer to this question. It's just my point of view, but I think we have a big problem in IT technology and in cybersecurity. We see every day a problem with the younger with social network, and in fact this is problematic because in fact if at school, in elementary school, if you don't use a computer, you don't know what is cybersecurity, what are the risks, and it's very difficult for younger to adopt reflex and skills to this problem. And after that, finally, this younger will be the worker of each enterprise. And as you know, we try to find solution. We try to build a wall, but the main vulnerabilities come from human and intern human. 65% of attack comes from the internal of the enterprise. So this is a problem. There is association which try to improve this problem, but naturally is not enough. I can make a I can say, for example, I have lots of friends in Singapore, because Singapore is a big city with a lot of cybersecurity startups. And in Singapore, it's very different. When young people are in school, they have a computer. In France, it's difficult, but I think it's difficult at all the levels, because we have the problem too with the CEO of big enterprise, of others, because we have a lack of knowledge. But I think in this domain, government and associations in general try to improve this lack, and I'm confident to get a level and to be able to develop a cybersecurity culture finally for all.
A very, very good answer, especially also because the goal of this series is also to raise awareness among all the people that are watching about the importance of cybersecurity. And your talk was also great because you were spanning such a huge field with lots of interesting connection points within. And maybe to add one thought from my side, also the security by design that you also mentioned requires knowledge of the tools and of the risks and so on. And the problem with security is always when you have a system that is not secured, putting a secure shell around it is difficult. And it's better if the system is like secure from the beginning. Yeah, very good. Thanks a lot for the great answers. So Alex, yeah, back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Marc-Oliver. So just to bounce on your answer, there were some questions about the human in the loop, as we can say, but the first one is a bit different. is about the cyber campus. So do you consider that the cyber campus will make a difference in how France is perceived internationally in cybersecurity?
Yes, I'm convinced by that, because cyber campus is the tool that we need. As I said, we need to have a place to bring together all knowledge. And cyber campus is not only a place like a building with a room. It's a symbol. It's a symbol for cybersecurity and for France. You know, in Israel, you have a lot of solutions when you want a PhD student in cybersecurity, when you want to employ an engineers in cybersecurity. In France, it's very different. Sncf has integrated the share CNI, and before that, I searched finally where are the doctoral school in France in the domain of cybersecurity, and they're not a lot. They're not a lot. So we need to develop this image of the cybersecurity, and we need to have a place to bring together to develop solution, because this is the future, because attacks increase, and we need to give a response. So this is, we can consider that campus cyber is just marketing, but I don't think. After that, cyber campus is a way to launch big projects in cybersecurity, and maybe you can meet skills in the cyber campus. Maybe you can make business in cybersecurity. So it's not just marketing. I think it's very important for France, and in Israel they had, in England they had, and for France, because we have lots of attacks. As you know, France is the goal for all countries. We need to have this response and this cyber campus.
Okay, thank you for your answer on this topic. So there was another question about the human part of cybersecurity. Does the human still have a place in an automated, reinvented cybersecurity?
Yes, of course. Not only on the cybersecurity solution, but when we talk about automation, human will be always in the loop. In fact, you know, I think, and specifically in France, we try to get advanced with this problem of human. For example, you adopt in safety domain. I don't talk about cybersecurity, but in safety domain, when we talk about automation for a ship, train, or a car, we adopt a research program to try to develop system which includes the human. And for AI, for example, it's very important because when you talk about automation, the machine do a lot of things, so the human do less of things, and after that you lost your skills, or you have a problem to develop skills about a system. And as I said, systems are more and more complex. And in fact, because systems are more and more complex, we need to use automation, and we have human. So it's very important to take into account the human factor in each system. Safety or cybersecurity, this is the same things. You know, we try to develop a safety culture at SNCF because it's important to improve the safety of the railway system. And when take a look about the problem of cybersecurity, this is often the same because the human factor is the same for safety or for cybersecurity. So I think this is this vision of 360 degrees to have an integrated culture on safety, on security, and on cybersecurity. And when we try to develop a new solution, I talk about 3D reality, virtual reality. In fact, you know that in the future, we will have a system, very complex system. And for the human, it will be very difficult to understand what happened. So with the 3D system, you can give the vision of the system. You can give a door to come in, to come into the architecture, and you can give some new information. So for the cybersecurity, we can think that tomorrow we have textual information with your computer, and you have so virtual reality to have a vision of what happens. And after that, you can do correlation and make the good decision. So I think automation and AI and all this technology are not to face the human, but we have to find the good solution to bring together automation system and the human. In fact, I know it's my answer is very clear, but
okay, yeah,
I
thank you
don't know.
for this answer. I don't know if, yeah, okay, it's work. Okay, so there were only 3 questions left, and one again about AI, maybe. So the question is, how much AI is too much AI? So should AI be regulated by the state, or should companies or academics be responsible of the use they make for AI?
In fact, for AI, I tried with the DEEL project to work about the certification of AI system for specifically for critical embedded system, but there is no certification, there is no regulation about AI, and this question of responsibility is current. In fact, I don't say, because this is not a question. I think this is not a researcher who can answer to this question. Certainly, in the future, regulatory will decide to the responsibility when you have a problem, but it's very hard to answer today. Finally, AI, it's like other technologies. What we try to do a robust technology, and we don't create AI to have a problem consequences when we implement in the car or in the plane. So I don't I can't respond today at this question, but this is an excellent question, and I think this question is studied currently in European regulation.
Maybe to follow up on that one. So how would you say will AI, or is AI changing the cybersecurity game? Could you give some thoughts in that direction?
Okay, how AI could change? In fact, my point of view, and this is just my point of view, but the difference between cybersecurity and safety is cybersecurity a problem without hand, in fact, because this is perpetual. You have always vulnerabilities. This is just a question of times, of luck too. If an hacker finds the backdoor or the other vulnerabilities. So the attack will increase because today it's very profitable, and I think it's impossible for human. If I take the example of the SOC, the Security Operations Center, you have a team, and they need to control a lot of alerts, and they need to find if this is false positive or false negative, and adapt a response. And all this action are manually. It take a long time, and it's impossible to manage lot of attacks if we don't have automation system. So automation system is ineluctable. And in fact, for that, today, what we have HiHi, but HiHi is not the
Holy grail.
The only system.
Yeah.
Yes, there is other systems than HiHi, and we can use this system to the automation of the cybersecurity detection and response.
Yeah, very, very good answer. You also mentioned two terms in your talk, which is data quality and explainability. So explainability, maybe some people know, but the data quality notion, maybe could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, data quality is a real lack, because in fact, before HiHi, we have developed software, and we developed currently a software every day. But with software, you have the control of the development. You know what you write in Python or other language program. But with HiHi, is still different, because in fact you have from one hand the data. I can take the example of if you have pictures and you want to detect a cat or a dog, you have a number of pictures. You have your HiHi, and the HiHi is a black box, and you train the models with different images, like you do with your child. In fact, you show first images, and if you created two output, dog and cat, and if the processing is correct, it's okay. If the processing is not correct, you re-entrain the model. And in fact, as you know, the data is very important in the overall system, because much more than today. Because today with the software, you fix the rules, but with HiHi, you don't fix the rules. This is HiHi which fix the rules. So how you can control it's with the data. And if I take if I continue on my example of dog and the cats, I need to answer that for all images, I have cats or dogs, but not a duck, for example. And it's very important to have a data quality. I mean, a process to select the data, to class the data, and to find the bias on the data. Bias is a big problem. I can explain a little bit the problem. If I take images with, I don't know, man and woman, and if I take lots of images with men, excuse me, and few images with a woman, maybe my model, my algorithm will be more performant with the men, and the prediction will be men. If I take this algorithm to for example, to employ people, if this system I give for the model the curriculum vitae of the people, and perhaps the system choose a man because he knows very well the men, but not very well the woman. And here you are a bias. There is a lot of bias in the data, and there is a known bias and there is an unknown bias. And from ethical point of view, it's necessary to have a data quality, a processing to select the data that you use, and specifically when you develop a critical system or a cybersecurity system.
Very, very good. And to prepare the next question that Alex has already selected, your title is Dare the Breakthrough of Cybersecurity, an Opportunity to Build Sovereignty. So which sovereignty are we building? So how does it look like?
So yes, sovereignty is a Graal. In fact, is a Graal in France. We would like to have sovereignty, but in fact, what is sovereignty? It's difficult to determine. A lot of enterprise thinks that sovereignty depends on the government. In fact, the government need to incite enterprise to buy a French solution. But it's not so easy because sometimes French solutions are not compatible with the enterprise. So we need to find a balance, in fact. And I think for this balance, you have the government with the regulation, with the privacy, with a lot of regulation, and you need to have a good offer. If you have a good solution, you can keep the sovereignty. But if your solution is not perfect or better than other solution, is difficult. I don't say that it's possible, but it's difficult. So I think for sovereignty, one more time, it's a problem of bring together government, enterprise, researcher, and all the ecosystem to build an offer for a French market and a European market. And maybe after that, we can catch the US market, because if we have a good solution, like I say, with a platform with different tools, we can catch other markets.
Good. Alex.
Yeah, okay. So I have questions. The two last questions are about sovereignty too. So the first one is about the fact that how can we manage to do, how do sovereignty and collaboration go in hand? How can we make them both work together?
For me, as I said, we don't need to manage, because for me, how to say, bring together is a part of the sovereignty. In fact, we can't get the sovereignty if we don't work together. It's impossible. It's possible in US because you have this is a country, a liberal country with a lot of facilities, but it's not possible in France. I think it's not possible in France. In France, we need to work together to build this sovereignty. So it's not sovereignty against ecosystem. Ecosystem is a part of to get the sovereignty.
Maybe even though we are advanced in the time, I just quickly jump in, because you also talked about language, and so language is something ultra important for cybersecurity, because you bring in different actors that have to talk to each other. They do not talk the same language. You brought an extreme example with even people within the cybersecurity domain not necessarily talking the same language. Therefore, the question, I put you some cues. So the first one, do we have enough exchange between the experts, between the parties that are concerned? There's two cues, like the experts and the concerned parties, which are not necessarily the cybersecurity experts. And also in that direction, what about the vertical integration of cybersecurity? Is there enough happening already? Do we have to put a lot of effort into that so that it's really going through all the areas of a company, for instance, having this awareness and
to develop a cybersecurity culture? I think this is the purpose of the question. In fact, cybersecurity culture is very important, and there is a lot of, I think this is the first good practices currently used in France and all over the world to have awareness in cybersecurity. But the problem is, what is the impact? Can we measure the impact of all teams do every day about this? When you are in the cybersecurity science or system, you know that you don't have to put your ID on your computer, but frequently we saw on the computer the ID, and this is a real problem, because as I said, 65% come from the vulnerabilities come from intern with the employees. So it's a very good question how we can improve this cybersecurity culture. From my point of view, this is it's very difficult because this is hard work, and for people, I can understand that it's difficult. If I take the SNCF, the railway domain, workers at SNCF have the first fundamental is the safety. And they have skills about safety because they know a lot of things about safety, about risk. But after that, you had different layers with health, with environment, with the cybersecurity. And it is very difficult for people to have lots of information, a lot of good practices, a lot of regulation to adopt. I think, one more time, the solution for that, this is the 360 vision. We need to integrate all the cultures, and we need to have some enterprise begin that, for example, not specifically with cybersecurity, but for example, in total, you have the one safety principle. I think we need to go ahead and to have one secure principle culture to do that. And after that, we need to help the users. For example, with the French Cybersecurity Federation, we have developed formation for young men, because in fact you have a problem in France with attack on the small and medium enterprise. Small and medium enterprise don't have a team for cybersecurity, so it's difficult to them to adapt the good practices. So we have developed a formation for young people, and with this formation, we take finally we take people without curriculum, and we give him some best practice. Don't show your ID. Choose a good ID. Some little things that are easy, but this is one of the best, one of the big problem in cybersecurity. And after that, we with these young people, we give them an experience and a luck to maybe to choose a study in cybersecurity, because as you know, in France, we have a lack of engineers, of technicians, of researchers in cybersecurity, and we need to improve that because, as I show, there is a lot of attacks.
Very good. And as a side note, so in August we'll have a talk by a friend of mine, Carl Denis, and he will talk about task forces also for SMEs if they have cybersecurity incidents. How can you handle that? Do you need a governmental task force for that? Do you have volunteers that are going for that, which is more like the French approach or the German approach? So very, very good and very important point. So Alex, I'll let you ask the last question from the audience.
Yeah, so this is a question more about national sovereignty, I think, than other definition of sovereignty. The question is, what about open source initiatives for giving users more sovereign ecosystems?
Yes, so why not? After the problem of open source in cybersecurity is, as you know, cybersecurity is a confidential not system, but a confidential I don't remind the word.
It's a sensitive topic, for instance.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
The sensitive topics. So I don't say if use open source is a good things. I'm convinced that today we have a lot of idea. You have a lot of researchers and engineers, and we don't use this gold to build a new solution. And I think maybe if we do that after, when we need to find new solutions, maybe we can think about platform with open source or others. But why not? I don't. If it's interesting, maybe yes, because I know this very interesting for other domain. For example, at Sncf, we use open source and for different problem like HiHi, for example. And why not? Perhaps for different solution, and maybe to give for the little infrastructure like small and medium enterprise, to give a solution to protect them, because cybersecurity could be a cost for an enterprise.
Plus, one important aspect that we also saw in the pandemic is also that open source is open. That means everybody can have a look at it, can look at the source code, and you know that what is in, if you're enough expert. And this is for me always a super important criterion when deciding for it. So not only the free, but the open aspect. Yeah, very good.
And that's all for the audience questions.
Good. So there you have your question from the beginning. So I'm keen to know what the people answered.
Yeah, so I've asked the question on the word cloud of Slido. What does sovereignty mean to you? So there were lots of answers, but quite different. I don't know if you can see them online. But at first, the biggest word that we can see is the word control. So sovereignty is related to control, according to some users, some spectators. But after that, all answers are about trust, complexity, challenge, independence, trust again, and the power of an entity to govern itself as a good definition. And there is even a hashtag about take-down capitalism. So maybe sovereignty is seen as the opposite of globalization, as the capitalism is, maybe in some mind. So it's quite interesting answers of this word, which could be in France very polysemic. So it was very interesting to see that. Thank you for everyone who participated to it.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, and so thank you very much, Cyril. So we clap our hands.
I'm very happy to do this presentation. I hope I met your expectations.
Oh,
and
you're
I hope all was as clear as possible. because this is a specific domain, and this is important to have a platform like this talk to touch not only experts in cybersecurity but more globally whole people, because cybersecurity touch enterprise but touch two homes. So it's very important to talk about this subject.
Very, very good, and really thank you so much. So you covered a lot of stuff. So these are the notes that I took during it, and to just so I really loved the talk, because especially because you covered so many things, and so you shared a lot of knowledge, which was good, because it was totally clear to everybody, I guess, that you are not working in the domain for 1 week, but you are for a really long time working in it. And what I also especially loved is your passion for the topic, so that one could really feel that you're like, it's a topic that comes from your heart, and therefore, yeah, thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Mark Oliver.
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you also to the entire team. So Alex, Leo, Nicola, and Olivia today again for delivering these great edition. Normally we have our edition only at the last Wednesday, but at least in Germany, some people might have seen that there was an interesting publication about an interesting topic, and therefore we'll have a special edition on the 16th of June. And the publication was here about such a thing here, so that some of you might recognize. So it's a reading ahead of a Turing machine, and the author of the paper is Pontus Johnson from KTH in Stockholm, and he investigated a security vulnerability in Marvin Minsky's original Turing machine, which is from the early days of computing, and I love it for multiple reasons. He will tell us much more about it, and one thing that you will definitely learn from his presentation will be like, how does buffer overflow work? So how can you change the programs of a computer at runtime? So yeah, that closes today's session. It was a great pleasure. Please subscribe to the channel and subscribe on the website so that you get the news for the next announcements. The trailer for Pontus will go online also in half an hour. So we are looking forward to seeing many of you in that edition. Please tell your friends about the series. The video is always online, and you can also still discuss on the video, of course. It was a pleasure having all of you with us today, and I will leave you in the evening with a trailer for next week and the announcements for the upcoming talks, because finally we have the entire year filled. So at the end, you will see which are the next talks that will come. Have a great evening, stay safe, and cyber secure. See you soon.
Bye.
The universal Turing machine is a fundamental theoretical model of computation. Some would call it the mother of all computers. And I will present the exploitation of a vulnerability that I've discovered in Marvin Minsky's 1967 implementation of the universal Turing machine. As an introduction to the actual exploit, I'll review how these universal Turing machines work. And then I aim also to conclude by some general speculations about whether this might say something about computer security in general.
Cher CyberCN, pôle d'excellence région Bretagne. Au revoir et à la prochaine.